Imagine this. You wake up and your legs feel heavy, maybe unsteady, perhaps even trembling. Or maybe agonizing cramps strike without warning, or you find yourself constantly, fearing a fall. Many people just assume this is, well, an unavoidable part of getting older, like your body's slowly betraying you. But what if we told you that for a significant number of people, these debilitating symptoms, they aren't inevitable, that they often stem from something surprisingly simple and entirely preventable?
Yeah, exactly. As doctors who specialize in elderly health, we see countless individuals who are basically resigned to what they believe is just getting old.
Mm-hmm.
When we really dive deep into the latest research, it turns out that many of the issues that strip away independence and joy, severe muscle weakness, frequent falls, even things like cognitive fogginess and brittle bones, they can often be directly linked to overlooked nutritional deficiencies. And this isn't just about feeling a little bit better. It's really about reclaiming your vitality, your independence, often far beyond what many people think is possible.
And that's really our mission today. We've pulled from comprehensive sources, including some really compelling research like the deep dive on YouTube titled Top 7 Vitamins to Strengthen Your Legs, Prevent Leg Cramps in Senior Health. Our goal here is simple: cut through all the noise, extract the key nuggets, and give you actionable insights. Insights into how specific vitamins and minerals can genuinely transform your leg health and, frankly, your overall well-being as you get older. Think of this as your shortcut to understanding how simple nutritional shifts might redefine aging for you.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Let's do it. And let's start with vitamin D. It's truly foundational. As we age, our bodies naturally change, right? Often leading to a loss of bone density and muscle mass, too. And while brittle bones are definitely a concern, a lack of vitamin D is one of the most overlooked causes behind a lot of this decline. The proper functioning, the balance, the strength of your legs, they depend critically on this vitamin. Okay, so if we've always kind of thought of vitamin D as mainly for bones, this sounds like it's almost like an energy coach for our muscles. Does that change how we should think about daily energy and mobility and, later life?
That's a really great way to put it, actually. Yes, vitamin D is essential for calcium absorption, for bone health, definitely. But its benefits go way beyond that. This supervitamin, as some call it, boosts how well your brain communicates with your muscles. That's what we call neuromuscular transmission.
Ah, okay.
And it helps your body build and repair muscle tissue through protein synthesis. So yeah, think of it like fine-tuning your body's internal wiring. Without enough vitamin D, your leg muscles just can't really power it up properly.
But why is it so common then for older adults to struggle with low vitamin D? It seems like, just get some sunlight.
Well, it's a bit more complex. Sunlight is key, yes, but older skin just becomes less efficient at making vitamin D from it. Plus, lifestyle changes often mean less time outdoors, maybe mobility issues, or just being cautious about sun damage.
Right.
And the result? It can be this systemic weakness that leaves your legs feeling shaky and weak. Research consistently shows that having healthy vitamin D levels strengthens muscle fibers, improves coordination, enhances balance, directly cutting your risk of falls and fractures. We see individuals with a deficiency often experiencing increased muscular atrophy that makes basic things like climbing stairs or even just getting up from a chair surprisingly difficult.
Wow, that's quite a cascade of effects from just one deficiency. Are there other maybe surprising connections?
Oh, definitely. What's really crucial here, I think, is vitamin D's role in maintaining those fast-twitch muscle fibers.
Fast twitch.
Yeah, those are your reflex muscles. They're critical for balance and making those rapid reactions that prevent a fall. If their health declines because you don't have enough vitamin D, your reaction times slow down, and that increases the likelihood of injury.
Makes sense.
And for people dealing with chronic pain or stiffness, studies show vitamin D can actually reduce inflammation in muscle tissues, which can bring significant comfort. And beyond the legs, severe health complications can arise. Osteoporosis, yes, and those really devastating fractures because of poor calcium absorption, but it's also linked to things like impaired immunity, cognitive decline, even increased cardiovascular disease risk. It's quite systemic.
Okay, so it's clearly vital. How do we make sure we're getting enough vitamin D to combat these issues?
Well, often it's simpler than people think. A natural boost. Just 15 to 30 minutes in direct sunlight, ideally morning or late afternoon. Expose your arms and legs.
But be mindful of sunscreen blocking it.
Exactly. Sunscreen does inhibit production, so it's a balance. Food sources are good too. Fatty fish like mackerel, sardines, fortified dairy, egg yolks, mushrooms. But for many older adults, especially those with limited sun exposure, honestly, a vitamin D supplement is crucial.
How much are we talking?
Most experts recommend somewhere around 800 to 1,000 IUs per day. That's generally for optimal bone and muscular function. Of course, higher dosages might be needed if someone's severely deficient, but that should be under medical supervision.
Right.
And the good news is it's easy to check your levels. A simple blood test. Highly recommended, given how big an impact vitamin D has on cutting fracture and fall risk.
Okay, so vitamin D helps our muscles work better, but what about the actual structure they're attached to, the bones? We all know calcium is crucial there, but you're suggesting its significance for leg issues goes, well, deeper than just preventing breaks.
You're absolutely right. While our bones are always remodeling as we age, bone mass tends to gradually decrease. This makes us more prone to fractures. And the legs are particularly vulnerable, aren't they? Hip fractures, femur fractures, even stress fractures in the lower extremities.
Mm,
These are common and can be really devastating for older adults.
yeah.
And when bones don't have enough calcium, even a minor stumble, something that wouldn't hurt a younger person, could lead to months of healing or worse, chronic mobility problems.
So it's really about maintaining that consistent everyday mobility, not just avoiding a big break.
Exactly. And calcium's role goes beyond bones. It's absolutely essential for muscle contraction. There's this intricate relationship you see between calcium ions and muscle fibers. It's fundamental to every single motion, from walking across the room to just getting up from your chair. Calcium basically acts as the trigger for the muscle contraction itself, ensuring movement is regulated.
Huh. So without enough calcium.
Well, you can get muscular cramps, weakness, sometimes an inability to produce the force you need for stability. That's why a lack of calcium often shows up as weak muscles, maybe slow movement, and those painful leg cramps.
Okay, so how do we make sure we're getting enough?
Right.
What are the best sources besides, milk?
Milk, yogurt, cheese, they're great, definitely. But not the only options. You can get plenty of calcium from foods like sardines, almonds, bok choy, kale, other leafy greens, tofu, even fortified plant-based milks.
So variety is key.
Variety is absolutely key for optimal bone maintenance and consistent absorption. Now, for those who might have trouble absorbing calcium, or maybe dietary limitations, supplements can be helpful,
Sure.
especially if you take them with vitamin D, which boosts absorption.
But not too much, right?
Right. More isn't automatically better. Too much calcium, particularly from supplements, can potentially cause digestive issues, kidney stones, even arterial deposits in some cases. So the ideal daily intake for older adults is generally recommended at 1,000 to 1,200 milligrams. That's combining what you get from food and, if needed, supplements.
And it's not just about what you eat, is it? Movement plays a role too.
Oh, absolutely critical. Physical activity is a huge component in how your body uses calcium. Weight-bearing exercises, things like walking, resistance training, even mild running. They stimulate bone remodeling. They help direct that calcium right where it's needed most, into the muscles and bones. As our source material aptly puts it, no amount of calcium can fortify the bones and joints if you don't walk about.
That's a great quote.
It really is. Calcium deficiency does more than just weaken bones. It can quietly chip away at your freedom, your movement, your enjoyment of life.
So what does this all mean for your daily life, for your independence?
It means that really focusing on your calcium levels and combining that with regular movement can truly pave the way for a life with more independence, steadiness, and, well, self-assurance.
That's powerful stuff. Okay, let's shift gears a bit to another crucial player, one that maybe gets overlooked when we talk leg strength. Vitamin B12. We focus a lot on protein, on calcium.
Right.
But B12.
Yeah, it's often underappreciated, but it's absolutely vital. Vitamin B12 plays this critical role in neuromuscular function. Basically, it maintains the strength and the accuracy of the electrical impulses traveling down your spinal cord and out into your leg muscles. Without enough B12, that signaling can get fuzzy, leading to muscles feeling heavy, exhausted, sometimes numbness or tingling, instability, even a gradual loss of control over movement.
And you mentioned earlier this deficiency is surprisingly common in older adults. Is it just diet, or are there other things going on that make it so, well, insidious?
That's a really important point. Yes, it is surprisingly prevalent in older adults, mainly because of its delicate absorption process.
Yeah.
See, to absorb B12 effectively from food, your body needs this special helper protein called intrinsic factor, made in the stomach. And you also need sufficient stomach acid.
Okay.
And both of those tend to decline as we age. Plus, conditions like gastritis, acid reflux, even long-term use of antacids can hinder absorption significantly.
Ah, so it sneaks up on you.
It really does. It leads to this gradual but constant depletion of this vital nutrient, and people often just chalk it up to getting older.
And the consequences, they can be serious, even irreversible.
They absolutely can be. Untreated, severe B12 deficiency can lead to irreversible nerve damage. This affects reflexes, balance, coordination. Many older adults experience problems walking. Maybe they fall more often or just feel like their legs aren't working as well as they used to. And this deterioration is often so subtle that people just accept it. They think it's a natural part of aging, even though, and this is the crucial part, it is often completely avoidable.
But there's good news, too.
Oh, absolutely. The great news is that restoring B12 levels can make a huge difference. Research shows that when seniors address this deficiency, their strength, their endurance, their overall leg function, it all improves significantly.
Okay, so where do we get this vital vitamin, especially if absorption can be tricky?
Well, unlike a lot of other nutrients, vitamin B12 is found almost exclusively in animal products. So lean meats, seafood, eggs, dairy, shellfish shields, especially things like clams and liver, are excellent sources.
What about plant-based diets?
Good question. For people following plant-based diets or those with known absorption issues, B12 supplements or fortified foods like some cereals and plant-based milks are pretty much essential. What's really fascinating here is just how critical that neurological system efficiency is reaction time, coordination for your legs to react properly, whether it's during exercise or just preventing a stumble.
Right, the nerves need to fire correctly.
Precisely. Your legs won't respond optimally unless those nerve signals are clear and strong. So maintaining sufficient B12 levels, it's one of the most underappreciated yet potent strategies for keeping your mobility and quality of life as you age. Higher dose B12 pills or sometimes regular injections can really help many older folks, especially if they struggle to absorb it from diet alone. And it's generally very safe. Excess B12 is just eliminated in urine. But, regular blood tests can help make sure levels stay optimal.
Okay, so B12 ensures the brain's messages get through clearly. But what if the messages arrive and the muscles themselves still aren't performing at their peak? That sounds like where magnesium comes in, the master regulator you called it.
You got it. Magnesium is like the quiet conductor orchestrating every smooth step you take. It's essential for ensuring your muscles not only contract properly, but also relax properly. This supports endurance, reduces that feeling of tiredness, and crucially, helps prevent spasms.
Ah, the dreaded leg cramps.
Exactly. Ever been jolted awake by a painful leg cramp in the middle of the night? Or maybe your muscles just feel constantly tense, a bit jumpy. That's often your body signaling it needs more magnesium. It helps calm down those hyperactive nerve signals, stopping muscles from stiffening up unexpectedly. Really important for anyone dealing with muscle tension or those involuntary twitches.
And it's not just about the cramps, is it? I remember reading magnesium ties into bone health, too.
It absolutely does. While calcium often gets the spotlight for bones, magnesium is essential for calcium to actually do its job properly. Think of magnesium as controlling the transport of calcium, making sure it gets deposited into your bones, not accumulating in soft tissues like joints or arteries, where it could cause pain, stiffness, and other problems.
Interesting.
Yeah, research actually shows that older individuals with higher magnesium intake tend to have stronger bones and a lower incidence of fractures.
So what leads to magnesium deficiency? And how does it impact our day-to-day lives?
Well, magnesium levels can be depleted pretty quickly by stress. Also, some medications that are quite common among older adults, things like diuretics, proton pump inhibitors for acid reflux, some blood pressure meds can interfere with it. And of course, diets low in magnesium-rich foods contribute too. The result is often this kind of stealthy erosion of strength, endurance, and flexibility. Many older adults notice this slow, steady decline in their stamina. Maybe walks get shorter, climbing stairs feels harder. There's just general exhaustion after a fairly light exertion. It's often not just age. Nutrition plays a huge part.
Okay, so how do we replenish this crucial mineral?
Magnesium is best obtained through food. Think legumes, nuts, seeds, leafy green vegetables. Excellent sources include things like avocados, almonds, pumpkin seeds, spinach, black beans.
Lots of good options there.
Definitely. And for those who might not get enough from food alone, magnesium supplements can be helpful, particularly forms like magnesium citrate or magnesium glycinate, which tend to be absorbed better.
And when levels are restored?
Often, there's a really stunning shift. Seniors report feeling more vitality, their legs reacting with more vigor, even if they felt weak and heavy before. People suffering from muscle cramps and stiffness often report significant relief, which then improves their sleep and overall mobility, too. It's quite impactful.
Okay, let's use that image again. You're getting out of bed first thing in the morning, and bam, instant leg cramp. Does that ring a bell for you listening? For many, that's a classic sign of low potassium.
You hit on a very common symptom, yes. Low potassium levels can cause a whole host of issues, but muscle cramps are definitely one of the most frequent. You see, potassium is this essential regulator of muscle activity because it maintains the proper balance of fluids inside and outside your cells. When those potassium levels dip too low, muscles can contract painfully and erratically. And beyond just being annoying, severe cramps can be genuinely crippling for older adults who might already have issues with circulation or muscle mass.
And it's more than just the cramps, though, right? There's a connection to stability and fall risk, too.
Oh, absolutely. Have you ever felt your legs kind of quiver after standing for a while? Or experienced a stiffness that just makes walking feel difficult?
Mm-hmm.
Potassium helps regulate movement by mediating the impulses sent from your nerves to your muscles. When levels are low, it becomes harder for your brain to effectively communicate with your leg muscles. This can make you feel weak, shaky, maybe have trouble lifting your feet properly when you walk.
Which increases fall risk.
Significantly increases the likelihood of a fall. And as we know, preventing falls is just paramount for older adults. And perhaps surprisingly, potassium is also really important for strong bones, not just muscles. It helps neutralize acidic compounds in the body that can gradually leach calcium from bones, reducing density over time.
Ah, interesting link.
Yeah, research suggests that diets high in potassium can help mitigate bone loss, reduce the risk of osteoporosis, and maintain the structural strength in the legs. It also seems to play a role in keeping joints healthy.
Okay, so how can we ensure we're getting adequate potassium to keep our legs strong and stable?
Well, nature provides us with a wealth of tasty foods high in potassium. Bananas often come to mind first, right?
Classic.
The classic, but really just the tip of the iceberg. You get loads of potassium from foods like avocados, spinach, beans, oranges, sweet potatoes. Actually, a baked potato with the skin on has more potassium than a banana.
No kidding.
Yeah. So including a variety of these foods in your diet daily is really important for consistently supporting your muscles and bones. The recommended daily intake is around 3,400 milligrams for men and 2,600 milligrams for women. A balanced diet rich in fruits, vegetables, and beans can usually meet this.
Any cautions with potassium?
Yes, definitely. For individuals with kidney disease, high blood pressure, or certain other conditions that affect potassium levels, it's really crucial to talk to a doctor before considering supplementation. For most people, getting it from food is best.
Got it. Okay, we've covered vitamin D and calcium, the bone buddies. Then there's vitamin K, which you describe as the traffic controller for calcium, making sure it lands in the right spot.
That's a perfect analogy, yeah. Think of vitamin K as directing calcium traffic. It ensures that calcium gets deposited where it belongs in your bones, instead of ending up in places it shouldn't, like your arteries or soft tissues. Because calcium buildup in those soft tissues can cause stiffness, poor circulation, even contribute to cardiovascular disease, all things that definitely compromise healthy, mobile legs.
So it's not just about getting the calcium in, but getting it to the right place. Makes sense.
Precisely. And studies bear this out. People who consume more vitamin K tend to have better bone health, a reduced risk of fractures, and overall stronger bones. This happens because vitamin K activates a protein called osteocalcin. Osteocalcin acts almost like a magnet, pulling calcium directly into your bone matrix, which leads to denser, stronger bones.
But vitamin K does more than just direct calcium, doesn't it?
It does. It's also really important for keeping joints healthy and muscles strong. Research has shown vitamin K can help alleviate knee stiffness, a really common complaint among older adults. It also seems to reduce inflammation in the joints, which might even help slow down the progression of osteoarthritis. So, if you experience knee pain or stiffness, maybe when getting up from a chair or after sitting for a while, vitamin K could be a crucial piece of the puzzle for your comfort and mobility.
And you mentioned it even impacts muscle strength and coordination directly.
Yes, that's an emerging area of research. Newer studies suggest vitamin K might play a role in maintaining muscular strength and coordination, particularly in older individuals. It seems to do this by helping control calcium levels within the muscle cells, ensuring proper contractions, and preventing those kind of clumsy movements that can lead to instability and falls.
Okay, are there different types of vitamin K we should know about, and where do we find them?
Good question. There are two main forms. Vitamin K1 is the most common, found mainly in plants. Think leafy greens like spinach, kale, Swiss chard, collard greens, Brussels sprouts. Then there's vitamin K2. It's found in fermented foods like natto, that's fermented soybeans and aged cheeses, plus some animal products like liver and egg yolks. K2 is generally considered more potent, it lasts longer in the body, and seems particularly good at channeling calcium away from arteries and into bones.
So eating more leafy greens and maybe some fermented foods could help.
Absolutely. Even simple things like adding kale to a smoothie or having sautéed spinach with a meal can significantly boost your intake and benefit your health.
That sounds doable. Any precautions with vitamin K we need to be aware of?
Yes, a very important one. Because vitamin K is involved in blood clotting, it can interfere with blood-thinning medications like warfarin, Coumadin.
Ah, okay.
So if you're on a blood thinner, it's absolutely essential to talk to your doctor before making significant changes to your vitamin K intake, especially through supplements.
Crucial advice. Okay, finally, let's turn our attention to vitamin B6, also known as pyridoxine. It might be less famous than some of the others we've discussed, but you're saying it plays a vital foundational role in keeping legs strong and muscles healthy.
That's absolutely right. While many nutrients help with movement, vitamin B6 is particularly important for, well, several things. Proper nerve function, muscle healing, and perhaps most critically, the efficient use of protein for building and maintaining muscle. Without enough B6, even muscles that should be strong can start to atrophy, making simple movements like getting out of a chair or climbing stairs feel like a real struggle.
And it has specific nerve functions too.
It does. One of its lesser known but really crucial functions is in nerve communication and coordination. A deficiency in B6 can actually cause nerve impulses to slow down or get misdirected. This can show up as tingling, numbness, maybe even a shaky gait. And again, many older adults might mistakenly attribute these symptoms just to aging or muscle loss, when it could actually be a lack of the nutrients needed for proper neuromuscular function.
And you mentioned it also helps with inflammation. That could be a game changer for people with persistent stiffness or slow recovery after activity.
It really could be. Vitamin B6 plays a role in regulating the body's inflammatory responses. So, by helping control inflammation, it can reduce muscle pain and help maintain flexibility and resilience. If you find yourself dealing with ongoing stiffness or you feel like it takes you a long time to recover after even moderate exertion, boosting your vitamin B6 intake might indeed make a noticeable difference.
Interesting. And there's another angle too, related to energy.
Yes. Beyond its direct role in muscles and nerves, B6 is essential for making red blood cells. And red blood cells, of course, are what carry oxygen throughout your body, fueling your muscles and giving you the endurance needed for activity. So if your hemoglobin levels are low because of a B6 deficiency, your muscles might not be getting enough oxygen. This can lead to feeling tired early on during activity, that heavy leg feeling, just decreased stamina overall. If you feel excessively fatigued, even after short periods of modest activity, it might be your body signaling a need for more B6.
Okay, so where can we find this vital vitamin in our diet?
Fortunately, B6 is found in a lot of common and tasty foods. Chicken, fish, especially salmon and tuna, bananas, potatoes, chickpeas, and fortified grains are all great sources. Including a good mix of these in your daily meals can naturally help keep your B6 levels topped up, supporting both your nerves and your muscles.
What about supplements?
Well, for people with certain gastrointestinal issues, problems absorbing nutrients, or maybe very restrictive diets, B6 supplementation might be necessary. Older adults generally need around 1.5 milligrams daily for women and 1.7 milligrams for men, although this can vary a bit. But a word of caution. While getting B6 from food is generally safe, long-term misuse of high-dose B6 supplements can potentially cause nerve damage, so it's something to be mindful of.
So focus on food first.
Exactly. The most effective approach is usually to prioritize a well-rounded diet rich in natural B6 sources. That ensures a steady supply without unnecessary risks.
Okay, so as we bring all these pieces together, vitamin D, calcium, B12, magnesium, potassium, vitamin K, B6, what really stands out, I think, is not just how powerful each one is individually, but how they work together, like a system, almost like a symphony for your leg health.
That's a perfect way to put it. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it's really about shifting our perception, isn't it? So many of the symptoms we just readily accept as normal aging, the weakness, the falls, the pain, are actually often solvable, or at least significantly improvable, with simple, informed nutritional choices. And that really raises an important question. What other aspects of our health might be similarly influenced by what we choose to fuel our bodies with?
It really boils down to reclaiming your independence, doesn't it? Your energy, your freedom of movement, moving beyond just getting by to actually thriving.
Absolutely. So maybe the final thought for you listening is this. Consider how much control you truly have over your body's aging process, perhaps far more than traditional narratives might suggest.
Mhm.
What small, consistent steps could you start taking today, not just to age gracefully, but maybe to age powerfully?
We really hope this deep dive into these 7 vital nutrients has sparked your curiosity and maybe empowered you a little. Remember, this information was tailored specifically for you, the listener, and understanding these fundamental elements really can profoundly impact your quality of life. Keep learning, keep exploring, and most importantly, keep investing in your health.